for real this week on the Movies and Stuff show, a roundtable discussion on Captain America Civil War. Captain America? Yeah. Iron Man Civil War? Civil War. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Movies and Stuff show, everybody. I'm Abe, and as Dan teased, we'll be talking Captain America Civil War. That's the name of the show, Dan. The movie, I should say.
The movie, yeah.
You guys are just all messed up.
And we're doing a roundtable discussion today. First up is Dan. He's my co-host and cohort of the Movies and Stuff show, which can be seen every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, depending on Skype issues. Right?
Yeah,
yep.
It's true. And I'll also accept to be your cohort as well. Cohort, same thing.
This might be my last show. Also joining us is filmmaker, author, and food truck aficionado, the host of Vegetable Lasagna, Tom.
Yeah, the food trucks downtown are much cooler than the ones in the Family Fair parking lot. That's all I have to say on that.
Right. And finally, it's the man who is part of Phase 3 or Phase 4 of Movies and Stuff. The man who will be fed up with all of us before the night is through, Jamil Payne.
What's up, guys?
That was the movie. That was the movie right there.
Oh, boy. So, I mean, I guess we start off with is saying that Civil War is killing it at the box office. It's killing it over Rotten Tomatoes, and it's killing it at Metacritic. So, it's beloved, right? We all love this movie. Right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
If it was as long as that toy fight I just watched, I would have been happy.
I think there was more drama in that toy fight than the actual fight in Civil War.
Oh.
I mean, there was no holding back punches right there, Jamil. Like, those punches actually landed. They weren't holding punches back.
Oh, that was something I had a problem with, too, but that's like in the middle of the movie.
Let's get there.
Yeah, let's get there. I guess let's just kind of start from the outside and work our way in. How did you guys see the film? I saw it in 3D, the leather recliner 3D experience, and it was absolutely terrible. The 3D conversion, again from Disney, is shit. It looked like it was a bad frame rate. You could see like ghosting and jagged action. I was not a fan at all. How'd you guys see it? Tom?
I saw it in 2D. I just went after work one day, and it was a mostly empty theater, actually, which was different. When I saw Batman vs. Superman, I had to sit in the front row. This time it was just a normal thing. It was 2D, nothing fancy, and it describes my experience as well as the experience of the exposition.
All right. Jamil, what'd you think, man? How'd you see it?
I seen it in a local chain on a small theater, but it was all right. Again, all the good showings was in 3D, and I refuse to see any movie in 3D if I can help it. So I'll take the smaller screen.
Dan, what's up?
Yeah, I saw it. I got a local theater. It's a couple blocks away from my house. It's walking distance. I went to a 10 p.m. show on Thursday night. I walked over there. It's a small, crappy theater to the point where, like, seriously, one of the audience members has to turn off the light, like flick a light switch to turn the light off in the theater.
Shit.
Not joking. Cost me like $7.50 to see the film. And it was the same theater that I saw Batman v Superman in my second time that I saw at BVS. So I can have equal comparisons that I saw at the same exact screen, BVS versus Civil War.
Okay.
You probably alienated a lot of the audience already, though, just by saying you saw it the second time.
I saw it the second time.
They're turning off.
That's it.
You did go see BVS the second time. Did you feel the need to go see this a second time?
No, I didn't. Here's the thing though, is I think with BVS, and I don't want to compare the two because even though there's a lot of similar issues with both films, I will say, I don't want to compare the two because they're two separate things and they shouldn't really be compared. I do feel that there was a lot more for me to try to absorb or analyze with seeing BVS a second time and I felt compelled to see it. With this one, it is what it is.
I'm just watching Jamil's eyes as you say that. I'm laughing already.
I don't want to compare the two. I really, they shouldn't be compared.
Let's not. Let's not.
It's
But,
like,
but that movie was a dumpster fire. Go ahead.
There's so much overlap between the two. I find it hard not to compare them. I think in terms of plot, the basic conflicts, it seemed like there was so much that there is to compare that you generally don't have with two movies that seem like they're going to have the same pitch. I don't know. It seems like it's a fair comparison. I think.
I think from an issue standpoint, in regards to, a lot of people complained that the first half of BVS nothing happened. I would like to argue that literally nothing interesting happened in the first half of Civil War. Nothing. That opening action sequence that was like a bad kind of interpretation of a Bourne Identity action sequence.
Oh man.
It was just, there was just, to me, there was just no real kind of feeling that anything bad was going to happen. It's like, okay, maybe someone's going to get scraped up a little bit. No one's going to die. Like, in Batman v Superman, you actually had legit feelings like someone could die here.
Spoilers, someone did.
You get the sense on top of that, though, that I feel like with Captain America, the villain is making a lot of valid points, and I don't see any reason to disagree with him throughout it. It seems like the whole time you're getting all this justification for William Hurt, for Nemo or whatever his name is, and there's so much reason to try to not let these guys do this. They're just causing so much damage and fighting over no reason. I don't know. I guess I felt that at least in Batman versus Superman, you did feel that there was some stakes. Like, I guess what I would point to for comparison, even though we just said we're not going to compare them, would be the legislation issue in the two of them were handled very differently. And I think that courtroom scene, I know a lot of people hate the courtroom scene in Batman versus Superman, but I thought you got some style there, you got some stakes there. You got
There's no stakes. There's no stakes.
You didn't think so?
No, because he's literally there for something he did not do. Those people got shot. Superman don't shoot people. It didn't even make sense. It didn't even make not a lick of sense. Those people got.
Holly Hunter's argument was that it was kind of the same thing as Batman's, though, wasn't it? That this unchecked power is bad and we should readdress that. Wasn't that kind of her argument, or maybe am I remembering it wrong?
Yeah, that's the exact same thing.
Yeah, and you get like the explosion. You got all that. All of that was a lot cooler, I think, than the non-conversation you had with William Hurt in the conference room. I don't know. I feel like I don't see the argument for Captain America's stance the whole movie. I didn't see it reinforced at all. Did you guys?
Well, I think. Let's just get out this way. I love this movie, but I think what this movie suffers from more than like Batman v Superman is, you have to watch maybe 3 or 4 movies before this. I think that's just like that's just a problem with the Marvel movies now, if you consider it a problem. Because like Captain America, if you ever seen Winter Soldier, or even the first Captain America movie, or hell, even the first Avengers movie, it perfectly makes sense why he wouldn't want to sign, because he's been there with the government, and the government tends to like screw over the people. Like, in the first Avengers, they almost knew New York. The government almost knew New York. In Captain America Winter Soldier, they had all these helicarriers, and they was going to like destroy America. So for him, he doesn't want to deal with the government from his past experience in the other movies. And maybe you don't quite get that from this movie, but it perfectly makes sense if you watch those other movies, since it is a sequel, that why he will want to deal with the government, why he will want that power in his own hands, because the government so far to him has proven that they can't be trusted to point them in the right direction.
There was a clip in the trailer. I don't actually recall if it was in the movie, but I think it was in a trailer or in it was about Captain America talking about his experience with the Nazis, and basically, that didn't want the same thing happening. It's like, I remember the last time, a government tried to, regulate things like this, and making allusions to his Nazi past.
That was in Winter Soldier.
That wasn't Winter Soldier. Okay.
And that was in the movie. That was in Winter Soldier. He does say that, and that's the thing. You know, these are powerful beings. As soon as you start bringing in government with their own agendas, again, from his experience, even though his name is Captain America, from his experience, the government is corrupt. They like he said, what happened? We need to go somewhere and they don't let us. Or what happened? We go somewhere where they don't agree, because he has seen this happen from his previous experience in the other movies. And again, maybe that's a flaw of this movie, that you have to watch those. But you know, I think he has a fair point. I also think Tony Stark has a fair point too. But go ahead. Sorry.
Is his argument that you can't trust an absolute power in government? Or what is the problem with? I mean, we're just saying that because there's been problems with governments in the past, we can't trust the UN to be different. Or I mean, I guess I feel like I'm a little lost on what the main problem is with it. Is it the U.S. government he has the problem with?
Well, no, his problem is, from my understanding, is just, again, you know, if you look at the timeline, you know, the whole thing with S.H.I.E.L.D. and Captain America Winter Soldier only happened a couple of years ago. So just from his point of view, like fighting in World War II, fighting with S.H.I.E.L.D. and them almost nuking the city, fighting Captain America Winter Soldier and them, you know, destroying threats and being infiltrated from within, you have 140 countries with all their own agendas. All he wants to do is help people. And again, you can argue against it. I mean, that's why I think the movie is good, because you can argue against it. Like, I think both sides, his and Tony's, makes perfectly good sense from their point of view.
Ooh, I have a real problem with Tony's, but go ahead.
Like even the central fight, which it ended up being spoilers about Bucky, was, you know, they want to bring him in, they want to kill him, you know, on sight, and he like, well, no, and he ended up being right. Like, the government again took it one step farther than what they needed to, and he felt like he was right. Now, he handled it wrong. Tony handled his wrong, and I think that's where the movie's central conflict comes in from. Like, they're both wrong and right at the same time.
See, I have a real problem with Tony's motivations, in that as soon as he encounters a little resistance, what's the first thing he does? Excuse me. He sneaks off to New York and he lies to Aunt May. He takes a miner overseas to fight some other superheroes. And this, presumably, unless Marvel's really going to play with some different continuity, that Spider-Man didn't sign the Accords like Tony did. As soon as he gets the chance, Tony's breaking the Accords. And he's like, you know, illegally taking a kid who probably doesn't have a passport. I mean, it takes at least 3 weeks to get a passport overseas to fight.
He's including another uninvolved person in his problem.
Absolutely. I mean, all Tony does is as soon as the chips are down, he goes back on everything he's claims that he believed up to this point.
Doesn't that argue? I mean, doesn't that work towards this argument though, that all you have to do is seem willing to kind of work with the government, and they're not really going to regulate you anyway. But
yeah,
you just sign and do whatever you want. Yeah. So why create this huge problem to begin with?
Yeah, that's what I would think that Stark's argument should be: is just sign the paper. Nobody cares. Nothing's going to change.
They can't stop him.
No. What are they going to do?
You know, to me, just in the scheme of things, finding out about the plot lines of the Civil War comics, I was kind of surprised the fact that they went that way. That because Iron Man, he should be in the opposite position of Captain America. It should be vice versa. I mean, Captain America, he's Captain America, for Christ's sakes. He should be, I love America. I love the government. I should follow the government. And Iron Man's like, fuck you, I'm a billionaire. I can do what I want. And to do the role reversals, I caught me by surprise. Really.
I mean, again, if you look again, like, if this is a sequel, like we want to put it as a standalone movie, but this is almost like Empire Strike Back. It doesn't work by itself. But if you look at everything that Tony has done, like, he always seems to put the weight of the world on his shoulder, especially after, I'm assuming all you guys seen Age of Ultron. That was pretty much his fault. Like he's dealing with a lot of PTSD and just guilt from problems that he caused himself.
Sure, no,
so
I don't have an issue with that. I was just saying, just originally, hearing the plot lines of the comic book of which sides they fell on. That just surprised me, because the fact is, these characters, and they did a role reversal for both of them in the comic, and that carried over to the movie. I'm not arguing that it wasn't a bad motivation for Tony to do what he did. In fact, I I think he had more of a motivation to do what he did than Captain America.
I do too, Ashley.
Yeah,
I think that in the
honestly.
comic also.
Well, I think that the comic was interesting, as I recall, in that Captain America's on the helicarrier right after all this legislation is coming down, right? And they were going to put him. Shield was going to force him to help them arrest the superheroes that didn't go along with the proposal,
Right.
and that was what kickstarted him fighting the Civil War.
And that's a better motivation for me than
Absolutely, that's a better motivation
the film.
Yeah.
Would Captain America say that Tony Stark has the right to create an Ultron? I didn't see an Age of Ultron. I'm really bad at this, so I'm just going off this one movie. But essentially, he's fighting not entirely just for his own decision-making process, which he believes should be unchecked and never challenged, apparently, but also for that of everybody with superpowers, is what I get out of his argument.
That's a good question. That's a damn good question. Because they did blame Tony for Ultron, and they gave him a lot of shit for Ultron.
But he had the right to do it, according to
But he had the
Captain
right to
America's
do
argument,
it, according
right?
to Cap. Yeah, absolutely.
Just because he's rich and has powers or something, I don't know. This is where I'm lost.
Yeah. Anybody? Jamil?
No. I mean, look, the movie's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making an excuse. The movie is not perfect. But you could honestly. But again, Cap. The thing is, we make a mess. We clean up our own mess. We don't need the government because the government would probably just make a even bigger mess.
But it's a checks and balances argument, though. He's saying he doesn't want those checks and balances. And I don't know, I guess, who qualifies to not have to be checked or balanced at any point? I mean, why?
I think he wants them to check and balance themselves. I don't think he wants the government to do it. I think he wants between the Avengers, between the other superheroes, that they're just going to keep each other in line. So the whole fact that Tony built Ultron really should have been a decision amongst the other superheroes and not something that the government said or something that Tony did on his own. And I think that's one of the issues at play here.
Why not just say that, though? Why not say we should be an organized group that has its own system of checks and balances, even among themselves, as opposed to just, I'm not even going to read the bill, I don't like it, I'm not even going to think about it.
I think that was his underlying theme. I don't think it came out as strongly as you're putting it, but that was my takeaway, is that he just didn't want an outside, especially like an outside government, to say, hey, you guys can't go fight over here because there's something else going on. They wanted to be able to make those decisions of where they could, be the heroes and not be restricted. Because again, when politics come into play, well, you can't go over there because they're, enslaving people that are digging out diamonds. There's things like that where it's like the superheroes are like, fuck that, we're gonna go save whoever's in trouble.
And so, I think that's the genius of this movie, and even though I don't really like the comic that much, I really think it's just, like, his point is right but flawed. It's same with Tony. Like you said, Tony came. Like, I think that's intentional that Tony says this, but he can't even follow his own bullshit that he's saying.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I really do think that's intentional. Like I know people see it as a flaw, but that's Tony Stark. He's gonna put the world on his shoulders. He's gonna do what he wants. Even though he's telling them this, he's slightly a hypocrite. He's kind of a hypocrite.
It's just such
because at the end of the day,
yeah. Go ahead.
No, because at the end of the day, it seems like he's running it, and isn't he the reason that they even need this in the first place? If he's running it,
right? He's like OCP. You create the problem and then you sell the solution.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think Tony is not only just his motivations, but it's such a weird emotional journey because that woman by the elevator, you killed my son, strikes a chord with him, and then this is what kickstarts his emotional. Well, that and not getting. He's not getting laid by Pepper, and part of the legislation is hooking back up with Pepper.
He was ready to have a different epiphany now.
Right, apparently so. But at the end of the movie, he's coming out with a fallacy again. You killed my mom. I mean, this is just such a weird, totally emotional, not really thinking at all Tony in this movie.
Well, his mother's name was Martha. Right?
That holds more water than this.
Bullshit.
He knows he's
Bullshit.
He knows this
Bullshit.
guy's brain. He knows this guy's brainwashed. He knows for a fact this guy's brainwashed.
It doesn't matter. You can say that, but at everything they just went through with his best friend almost dying, with that bell in the parking lot, with everything that's happened over the years, you literally right next to the man. Like, even if you know intellectually that that man is brainwashed, You literally right next to the man as you see him murder your parents that you have issues with because that's the last time you saw them was a fight. I think that actually makes sense. Now you're right. Later he would have calmed down. Later he would have thought about it, but he was right there. And Iron Man is in a fucking like nuclear suit. Yeah, I might want to try to kill him too. I think that motivation like
Is
fits.
this then how Captain America is arguing that things should be run? Is this our manifestation of here? I'm going to stop him from killing Bucky because that's how we should do things. Because it shouldn't be up to the UN. I should be able to fight Iron Man and stop him on my own. I mean, is that what we're going for here? Is that why that scene's there?
That's a good question. I can't tell you. It's not a well thought out process, really.
I agree, but
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Well, no, I don't think it's supposed to be well thought. I think it's emotional. I think in that moment he's emotional. They set it up early in the scene where he fight with his parents. Then they die.
Yeah.
And as we know, if you've seen Iron Man 3, he has PTSD from the events of New York. If you've seen all the other movies, he pitched the world. He pitched the weight of the world on his shoulders. Tries to fix everything. Like he's already in an emotional, vulnerable state. He's went to this supermax prison, even though he was fighting with these guys. They are his friends, and now they're locked up in this underworld prison. And now you seeing the guy just murder your parents, and he's right there in front of you. I don't think it's supposed to work on the intellectual level. I think it's supposed to work just how it is on an emotional level. Again. Later, he probably would have thought about it, but in that moment, in his vulnerable position that I think they set up pretty well throughout the movie, yeah, he went after him, and especially the fact that Steve knew, and he didn't tell him.
Yeah, I can see that. I just don't like the idea of Iron Man being a completely emotional pawn. That seems like something that you'd use the Hulk for, not Iron Man.
Well, again, like I said, I just think he was under a lot of stress. If that's a good excuse, I think if you've seen Age of Ultron, he has that vision of all the heroes are dead, and one of them saying it's your fault. Like he just puts the world on his shoulders. Yeah. And he is emotional. Like that's the thing. As smart as he is, as logical as he can be, he is a drunk and a philandering playboy. Like he is an emotional person.
maybe shouldn't have unchecked power to do whatever he wants around the world in that case.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe it's right for him to sign it. He's accepted that. He's accepted the higher power.
Well, no, that's exactly the reason. That's exactly his argument. That's exactly his argument. Like, look, we can't be trusted. Well, I can't be trusted, so therefore, none of you guys
I
can
don't
be
think it's
trusted.
a we. I don't think it's a we thing. I think
Yeah.
he's signing these, of course, because he can't trust himself, and I think that's his issue. Because I mean,
yeah.
it's not like Captain America built an Ultron. It's not like Ant-Man built an Ultron. He did it. He fucked this all up. You know.
My thing with Ant-Man, though, is going back to this idea that at what point are they a cohesive group? Because Ant-Man wouldn't have to sign this accord until he's officially part of the Avengers, right? But then, I guess I'm just so confused about who Captain America thinks should have to answer to somebody and who shouldn't.
I think it's pretty much any superhero, anyone that's going out and trying to,
and doing superhero
to
would
do
have to
superhero
sign.
things have to sign it. So someone like Spider-Man would have to sign it, even though he's not a member of the Avengers. Someone like Ant-Man would be forced to sign it, and Ant-Man actually probably has more motivations not to sign it than Captain America does, because in the scheme of things, Ant-Man's a fucking thief. So
Right.
you'd think a criminal is like, well, wait a minute, I don't want my fingerprints going into any database or anything like that. They start running shit and realize that he's like, responsible for all these crimes. I do want to take a step back though, because I've criticized this movie, and I want to actually say that I don't think it's bad. I actually think that this was way better than Age of Ultron, like way better than Age of Ultron.
I agree.
I think they started moving even the comedy out of that Whedon-esque environment. So I didn't find the comedy in this as grating as the other Avengers movies. Like the Whedon-esque jokes would just drive like a screwdriver through my eyeballs. And these I actually got a couple of chuckles. I think first of all, I think Spider-Man was great. I think a lot of people that were apprehensive of Spider-Man, I think he was the best part of the film. I think Spider-Man, it was exciting, and it made me want to see a solo Spider-Man film. I think Black Panther overall was a great origin story. This was more of an origin story for Black Panther than even like Captain America movie in many ways.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like Captain America. It was called Captain America: Civil War, and that's why I made the joke in the beginning. Is I didn't feel like it was a Captain America movie. It was more,
Oh,
it was more of an Avengers 3. But even so, like I think great setup for Black Panther and great backstory setting that up. But Spider-Man made me really excited. I really enjoyed that.
I can't disagree with that. Yeah, Spider-Man was, I think, the bright spot of the movie. Absolutely, Spider-Man and Black Panther. Even though I don't quite understand what Black Panther's thought process is, I really like them both.
Yeah, I don't know. Black Panther seems like he's just there to be the exotic guy who can give wisdom every once in a while. I feel like once you get far enough into the plot, I get the beginning why he was there, and that seemed like that worked. But up to the ending, and he's just following around so he can give that little lecture on vengeance, right?
well, and kick Bucky ass at every turn, like seriously, like every minute, like he's just on Bucky's ass, like he's on that ass through the whole movie.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Do we think Bucky really deserves special treatment? I guess I couldn't buy that. Like, why can't he not be treated like?
Oh, it's almost like therapy. But it's almost like therapy. It's like can we actually make this criminal? Can we rehabilitate this criminal, if you will? Because I mean, he's doing these things against his will, and deep down inside, you think that he is a good person. That
he's dangerous. He's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very. I mean, again, that's why I think Captain America, like Captain America on his side of things is the flaw. Like, yes, Bucky probably should be locked up. At least get help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not saying you need to kill him right away or anything.
Right away.
Well, that was the problem. They were going to kill him right away. Like it was like shoot on sight. But Captain America's acting from an emotional standpoint because it's the only link he has to his past. It's the only friend he has. They both over 100 years old.
Did the Winter Soldier have Captain America making the case to authorities maybe to handle Bucky differently? Because in this one, I just get the sense that Captain America can't be bothered to talk to anybody, to try to explain what's going on, to really hear what other people have to say and try to convince them of anything. He's just like, nope, I'm just going to do it myself. Don't worry about it. Let me do it.
I mean, I think from Captain America's standpoint, he is just afraid that if he doesn't act fast, they're just going to kill this dude. Because and that was the whole thing. They were out to kill Bucky.
I made a phone call, one of those car rides.
I don't know. I thought it was. I thought their relationship was kind of silly, but I like the point that you made, Jamil, and they kind of hammer that home with going to that funeral, having one of his old connections to the past dying, and realizing that he doesn't have much more to hold on to from his past other than Bucky. I think that was a good point that you made. That's probably one of his motivations there.
And again, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't, like, I actually agree. Maybe he should have talked to somebody. But that's the flaw. He's acting on emotion. Like I feel like the problems that some people have, I think, are actually intentional. Like I think Captain America and Tony are supposed to be both flawed in their argument. We just don't get that a lot. We just expect it to be simplistic. But I think it's supposed to be like this thing, like, you guys are fucking up. Basically, you guys are fucking up. There's bigger threats in the world, and you two are fighting amongst each other.
It almost works. It's a big allegory for the American political system, really. Besides, won't talk, won't think about things. They won't read the bills.
Acting on emotion.
Yeah.
Being completely hypocritical.
Yeah, right. Wow,
I think that goes to the point I was saying earlier, though. It really is just a role reversal. Typically, it's Iron Man, it's Tony Stark, going strictly on emotions, not really trying to think things through completely, and Iron Man being the voice of reason. And I think in this sense, it's a role reversal. Is you have Captain America just going gung ho, trying to act on emotion, and Iron Man trying to be a sense of reason, even though his reasoning isn't correct. He's trying to be a voice of reason here and say, hey, let's slow down. Let's think this through. And Captain America's like, Buddy's my friend. Bucky's my friend. Bucky's my buddy.
Yeah, I mean, the more you talk about it, the more you realize you want these people to be regulated. I mean, it's too dangerous to have them just these emotional basket cases.
But you say that, but
Go ahead.
But you say that, but every movie proving that maybe you shouldn't have them regulated because every government so far has been corrupt in these movies. Like, just going plainly off this, they're going plainly off this universe. Every government they have encountered has been corrupt.
Yeah, I mean that's true. There is some corruption there, but I don't know. Do we want them fighting for a corrupt government that might want to increase their power, or do we want them fighting for completely nonsense reasons? Like, he killed my mom. This is my best friend. I'm alone. I'm lonely. I feel like you can count on a government's corruption. You can predict a government corruption. You can't.
Plus, they're not going to enforce it anyway. They can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're just going to do whatever they want anyway.
You know, we say that, but we're not for sure. Well, I guess we'll never know now. But like, we're not for sure what was going to happen if all of them signed and tried to play along with 140 nations, 140 different agendas.
I think
what were they going to do? They're going to nuke them? I mean, then just give them even more powers?
They can't even get
yes, they almost nuked New York. They literally almost nuked New York when the aliens invaded.
Well, New York was pretty much empty, right? I mean, only 15 people died in the first Avengers.
It was a close one.
Yeah, it was like 74. I'm sorry, but yeah, New York was empty at the time.
Oh no! People died there. You know, unlike a certain other movie.
I think Superman snapped the necks of 74 people in Man of Steel. I mean, along snap.
Oh my goodness! Yep. Oh, but yeah,
not a care in the world, just destroying shit. At least in Avengers, they was actually trying to do crowd control. Like, hey, people with no powers. Get the people to safety.
Oh, but that was so stupid though. That was so silly. Like, to me, it's like wait a minute, we have to save all these people. It was just kind of like, come on, you're just really trying to give a middle finger to Man of Steel right here.
And then one guy died, and his mom just happened to decide to go confront Stark and start all this. Yeah, the one guy that died in what was it, Sarkovia? Yeah.
Some made up Middle Eastern country.
Oh man. Well, I think we should just flip over to the next slide. Just get that out of the way. If there's anybody out there, I'm sure we're pissing a lot of people off. We can open up the phone lines if anybody wants to call in and talk
Yell
about
at us.
Yeah. So let's just take a quick 10-second break. All right.
Yep.
All right. We'll be right back.
Good talk, guys.
How about that? All right, but yeah, so, I mean, we'll open it up if anybody wants to talk, but we're going to keep talking.
Did you actually show the number? Is it going to come up at the bottom now? It's scrolling away.
Let's wait for it.
Oh, it'll come. Maybe not.
Let's just watch for it.
Oh,
hey.
there we go.
Oh,
shit. I am just messing up all over the place.
It's like Psych Out. All right.
There we go.
There's
Call
the
in.
number.
Join in. 575-578-1118 and tell Jamil why he's wrong.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, I'm guessing that most people are going to side with Jamil. I think
I understand.
We're in the minority here.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I found it interesting. We were talking. Tom said that he thought Black Panther's role was to kind of be the outsider to drop knowledge. I really found Vision to try and be that, and I hated Vision's philosophy here. Our very strength incites challenge, challenge incites conflict, and conflict breeds catastrophe. I hate that philosophy.
I thought Vision was severely misused in this film.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed because I do actually like him, and I like the actor that plays Vision, and I just felt like he was kind of just dumb in this movie.
Well dressed though.
Yes, very well so.
I think the problem is, and I think this is a problem with superhero movies, the Vision is kind of too powerful, so they have to do something with him.
All right.
Honestly,
we already got a call coming in, boys. So
All right.
here we go. Of course.
We knew
I knew
Abe was gonna
that.
do that.
Call back. God damn it.
well, like I just think with these movies, you have to set some characters are just too powerful, so they have to find ways to do something with them, but still have them in the movie.
All right, here we go. Caller, you are on the air.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh,
Marty.
Marty
calling from
again.
Hoboken.
Marty, why is Jamil wrong? Tell us.
Jamil's wrong because his lighting's not good on this show. That's one. But Joe, I mean, it's an Avengers movie. It's Avengers 2.5. It's a fun movie. Everyone loves these movies. But to say that there's some kind of deep reasoning to anything with these movies, it's just not the case. Marvel tells you right off the bat that these aren't important because there's 3 more movies coming in a year. So by the end of the movie, everyone's going to be friends again because we got to go fight the guy in space at some point. So by then, everyone's going to be happy again, and we'll get back to work in that case.
Yeah, to me, there's just no kind of sense of like urgency in this film. Again, maybe from the preview you thought Don Cheadle you thought War Machine was gonna die. From the preview, you're like, oh, maybe.
And who would care anyway? Don Cheadle is the character no one cares about. Oh, he's kind of crippled. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, to me there's no stakes. There's no major stakes in this film because again, and this is part of the problem of them announcing all these films so far out in advance, and apparently they're changing the name of Infinity Wars. So the next Avengers film is not going to be Infinity Wars Part 1. They're changing the name.
It'll be Infinity Wars : Let's get the band back together. It'll be, and then the next one will be something.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all it is. The next film is just that's what it's going to be. Since everyone has to get everyone back together on the same page because there's a bigger threat, and then after that, it's the bigger threat that they have to fight in the next one after that.
I think the problem, not the problem, but I think it is like I just see these movies different from you guys. Like, I don't expect stakes in these movies, not like real stakes. I see this like as an Indiana Jones movie. Not saying it's as good as Indiana Jones, but like as an Indiana Jones, as in saying that it's just a fun adventure. Like it's just a fun, like there's really no stakes in the Indiana Jones movies for the most part, except for that time Sean Connery got shot. Like so that's how I approach them.
They're definitely fun movies. I mean, no one's going to come over saying, "Oh, that." I mean, people got upset in the press about BVS because it wasn't fun. It's kind of the same movie, except these are fun movies with characters you care about, as opposed to BVS, which was a dark movie with characters you barely knew. So that's how these movies work.
I agree with that 100%.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is I think the structure of these films were very, very similar. And the same issues that a lot of people had with the first half of BVS, I had. Like, honestly, it took at least an hour or so for me to like really get into Civil War. The first half to me, it was just like, do something.
Well, I mean, the action's all great, so that's fun. I mean, it's great direction, it's great shots, but
I did not like that first. I'm honestly in that first sequence, it seems like ScarJo's stunt double deserved a higher billing than she did because it was just that her bouncing around like nonstop. It was just so frenetic. It didn't really seem well paced to me. I didn't like that first action sequence at all.
The Black Panther chase scene was really good though. I thought.
I like that one. No, that came a little bit later on, and the airport fighting scene had moments that I really liked, but that's what I was alluding to earlier. There was no kind of, it wasn't a conflict. It was like a couple of people slap fighting to me. Honestly.
Yeah, it was a bunch of scrimmages and a giant ant, and that was pretty much it.
I did enjoy that though. I did enjoy the giant Ant-Man. I think that was
that old movie Empire Strikes Back. Oh,
that was a good one. Yeah, that's what happens when now Disney's got Star Wars and Marvel. You can have those kind of one-liners.
Yeah, you can make those comments now.
Oh, all right, guys, enjoy the show. Hopefully, you can get Tom back on so he can explain the other movies to him that he hasn't
seen. Thanks, Marty.
Yeah, we are trying to get Tom back right now. So as soon as we can, we'll get him back in.
I think the caller made a good point, and I probably should have made this clear. Like, I don't think this movie is deep, but I think it knows that it's not deep. But what you do care about the character, it's like the last Star Wars movie. It's basically the same plot as A New Hope, but you care about the characters. And I think with this movie, you care about the characters as opposed to the other movie with two fighting heroes. You don't give a fuck about any one of them. Like, you don't care that Superman died. Spoiler alert. Like you don't give a damn. I wish they would have killed Captain America in here like they did in the comics, but something tell me they didn't do it because they kind of knew Superman was gonna die in the other movie, and they didn't want to be that similar. That's just my theory. That's why he didn't die in this movie.
I don't know. Like, I really have a problem with the stakes in this. The stakes are so low in this film. I found myself getting fidgety. An injury. Okay, it's a bad injury to War Machine, but it's an injury he's going to bounce right back from. As soon as the credits are done rolling, Tony has invented something that'll help him walk. This is weak. This is toothless. This is. Marvel's got to step up. They've got to introduce some stakes. And whether or not they just don't want to kill anybody because the Infinity War is coming and they're just going to kill everybody who's, making too much money actor-wise, I think that's probably what's up. But
Well, I don't know. Like, guys, I don't know what type of stakes do you want. Like this is not like a Bourne movie. This is not All the President's Men. It is what it is. It's a silly comic book movie. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I know that sounds like condescending, but it's a silly comic book movie. I don't think in these type of movies there's ever really any real stakes, except for The Dark Knight. Like that's the only movie like where there's actually any stakes that I could think of. That's like of the comic book variety of like mainstream superheroes.
But I mean, if there's no stakes, it just seems like, well, what's the point then? If the villains are going to be so watered down, I mean, like, and I like the actor that plays Zemo, and it's just, yeah.
I actually like this villain. Like that's the thing. He's unassuming and kind of a nothing character. Again, I think that was done intentionally because I find it refreshing that his plan wasn't to blow up the world or to take over the world, and that his motivations are clear and a lot more personal. And I think the stakes of this movie are not like of a world destroying type, but it's more of a personal type. It's more of these friendships that are at stake. Then, which you can call those stakes, but we've seen all these movies. The world is either about to blow up or something, or about to be taken over. And this movie is a little more personal.
Yeah, but I mean,
Now,
even so, though, like the Iron Man movies, to me, I felt that there were stakes, and I know 2 and 3 get kind of crapped on, but I felt that there was.
I like 3.
I like 2 and 3, and I think 2 probably has, other than Loki, the best villain that we've seen in these with Sam Rockwell's character. I think he was just amazing and just awesome villain. It's between him and Loki, it just, I think when the stakes are just so low, you can't really become truly invested in what's going on, because it's like, well, they're just, nothing's going to happen. Like, it's, they're just doing this for fun, I guess. But when you feel, it's like, well, in the deep part of your brain that it's like, well, they're going to save the world because they have to save the world. But it gets to that point, it builds to that point where it's like, maybe they're not. They are, but maybe they're not. I think that's the problem, is that they're doing a bad job of building to get to that point of you saying that there's even the slightest chance, most minuscule chance of this actually blowing up.
Well, okay. Let's keep the stakes low. I agree that's fine, but then I think you need to rely on more character development. I think you need to rely on really getting into the heart of what makes these people tick. And I feel like this is just that just casual glance at these characters, or in some cases, a completely incorrect glance, just showing Tony as a emotionally broken child.
It's tough to do with so many characters, and that's the problem. And I actually don't think that they did a terrible job of bouncing between all the different stories in this film. I think they actually did a better job in this one than they did in the previous Avengers films of being able to focus in on the characters a little bit more so, and giving them a little bit more screen time. The thing is, I think now it's the newer characters that I'm finding more interesting. Like I really, to me, like Hawkeye and Black Widow, to me, they're uninteresting. But you're introducing more of Ant-Man and more of Spider-Man and more of Black Panther, and to me, that these characters, even though they're tertiary characters, in the scheme of things, or even like the next level down, if you throw in like X-Men and Fantastic Four and stuff like that in the Marvel universe, these guys are like kind of 3 or 4 tiers down. you got to think Iron Man was a second or third tier character in the Marvel comic universe, and now
Yeah.
he's number one. Like he's more so. I think it's probably like him and Wolverine at this point
Oh
in
no,
time.
no, no, no. Spider
You know,
Man. Spider Man is still.
Well, Spider Man went through that. Hey, Tom's back.
Hey
Hey,
there.
there you go.
Um, I I think Spider Man's like working his way towards a renaissance, but I think he did take a step down in the last couple of films, especially the last one with the with that Electro, the Jamie Foxx Electro
God.
one.
Talking about
I think that kind of
talking
took a step
about
down,
dumpster fire.
and I think Spider Man 3. The original series, Tobey Maguire, I think that kind of took some of the prestige away from the Spider-Man character. But I think he's on pace to be a Renaissance character again. But in the cinematic
Yes.
universe, I do think it's Iron Man and Wolverine in regards to the Marvel characters that are one and two of the characters that are the top. And Wolverine's on his way out. Apparently, he's going to be in.
Hopefully.
Well, from the last trailer, they showed that he's going to be in Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Actually, I actually agree with you. Like, I think again, it's just you have the characters in so many movies, year after year after year. They not necessarily stale, but you know them. You get and Black Panther said when Hawkeye like introduced himself, I don't care. Like nobody cares about Hawkeye.
cares about Hawkeye.
And we see him in like 6 movies now. We see him in 6 movies. We've seen Captain America in like 7 movies. We've seen Iron Man in like 8 movies. I think that's just a problem with this formula. But I do agree with you, Dan. I do. Agree.
The Hawkeye thing, like I felt like he had a good closure. He had closure in the last film. To bring him back was kind of like stupid, and the fact that he's going to be in the next ones is like I get Jeremy Renner's a nice guy, but I mean he can do more action films. He doesn't need to be in this anymore. He had his story pretty much end in Age of Ultron. A quote unquote happy ending, and to drag him back out, it's just like we don't care. We got more interesting characters now. It's just get rid of Renner's screen time and give more time to Paul Bettany. Get the Vision to be like a bigger character. Again, I'm not trying to criticize because I do think that they did an overall pretty good job of focusing in on the different stories here. I think you just didn't need some of those characters, and you didn't need some of those stories, and then they could have even done an even better job of focusing on the characters that we want to care about or in the future should care about.
You get no arguments about Hawkeye for me. I got nothing for Hawkeye. I got nothing.
Nice. Well, I think we really hit it on all the points. We've been talking this for like 47 minutes straight. Well, some of us
came back just
some
for
of
this
us.
to end.
Oh well, I mean, do you have anything else? We can keep going. I mean, what do you think? Give me some more thoughts.
Okay, my one big complaint, and this is probably indicative of I don't know. So it's something that probably isn't new to the MCU, but why are the soundtracks so bland? Why can't they get some decent composers?
That's a good question. This was a very bland soundtrack.
Personally, I think all soundtracks for most movies these days are bland.
Well, I'm sorry to see you go, Jamil.
That's true. Why can't Marvel aspire to a memorable melody every once in a while?
But yeah, like I think everything sounds like a knockoff Hans Zimmer now. They just I agree, Tom. It's just like
Although to be fair, Hans Zimmer didn't even go for melodies or music in Batman vs Superman, so I think that might have even been worse.
Yeah, it's noise versus completely bland. Completely bland. Yeah, that's just so weird. I don't know.
I just want everything scored like Requiem for a Dream. So, I mean, any superhero movie, just take the soundtrack for Requiem for a Dream and play that in it.
Call Clint Mansell. Why don't we call some of these people? Why don't we call anybody but the 10 people who do all the gigs in Hollywood?
Like I feel like Hollywood thinks for some reason that the days of like John Williams and Danny Elfman of that hummable tune is like archaic for some reason. But like I think these superhero movies need them. I really do.
No, I agree. I mean, how long was it before we even got actual music for Iron Man? Wasn't it just rock music for a while? An actual theme or score for Iron Man? Was it in Iron Man 2? Or was it a...
Does he even have a theme?
Yeah, I wouldn't even say a theme, but I mean, like, does he even get a score? was there even? I don't recall a score at all in Iron Man 1 and 2.
None of these characters have like themes. Like, Darth Vader walks into the scene.
Right.
You hear the Imperial March. You know that music. You don't even have to see him. You know that music. Captain America walk onto the scene. Iron Man, like, they have nothing. They have nothing distinguishable. Just strings, maybe.
I think your point's good. That I mean, if maybe Christopher Nolan's movies didn't lend themselves to that same theme recognition the same way as some of the old John Williams stuff, but the Marvel universe absolutely could have that. That just to even just get the fanfare, get the fans knowing that somebody's not around the corner. I mean, that universe absolutely lends itself to that sort of musical storytelling, and they don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that they try to be a little whimsical. They try to be a little fun. And I think that's one of the spots that they're falling a little flat with, and they could have a little bit more fun with that. Like you said, yeah, like you just a couple of notes, and you're like, oh, here comes Spider-Man.
Right? Yeah,
it's coming up. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that is just so weird to me. That I mean, it's Disney. They understand the power of music more than almost anybody. It's really odd.
Well, we don't want Spider-Man the musical because last time that happened, we know how that turned out.
I forgot all about that.
People died.
See, there were higher stakes in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Touche.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! So I guess we should just start wrapping up our final thoughts. Tom, what are your overall thoughts about the movie? Just kind of in general. Would you recommend it to people?
Well, I mean, I assume people who like Marvel movies like this movie. That seems to be the general impression I'm getting.
That's a hell of a thing to say.
Well, I mean, I'm somebody who I haven't seen a Marvel movie since the first Avengers. I sat through Phase 1, and I got to Avengers, and I felt like it was built up to the exact same movie I sat through 8 times or whatever, up to that point. So I haven't seen one, and then you asked me to see it for this one, and I feel like, once again, I feel like I really didn't miss that much, except maybe some of this Hydra Winter Soldier stuff that everyone tells me about. But it seemed like there's not a lot of progress. But if you like what you're getting, I mean, yeah, people who are really into these movies seem to like them. So I don't think I'd recommend it to somebody who doesn't like that. Or it seems like even people who are really big into Batman versus Superman, I don't know if it's just that DC MCU divide or anything, but like the average person who isn't into superhero movies, which a lot of people I know aren't really that into superhero movies. I wouldn't really recommend it to them, but I think it's got to be just that taste thing. Like, I wouldn't recommend the Woody Allen movie to everybody either. So I didn't think it wasn't an incompetent movie. I just was bored more than anything.
Jamil, just final thoughts about the movie.
I liked it. It was good. Can't wait for the next one. That's about it. I really think this is a good movie. I really think it's a step above the other hero versus hero movie that we got this year. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying it's a step above. It's well made, well crafted. It looks good. I like most of the action.
All right, Dan, let's.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple quick points to make. I think
Sure.
one that I kind of brought up to you the other day was the budget for this film was $250 million, and then they spent an extra $175 million on marketing. And that boggled my mind. It's like, do you need to spend $175 million? And the same complaint about Batman v Superman. Do you need to spend that much money to market a film like this? I think that's insane that you need to spend that much money to market a film where Deadpool showed that with a very shoestring marketing budget, you can have a huge success. So it just shocks me that they could literally make another film with the money that they spent on marketing this movie. It just boggled my mind.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
But to my second point that I'm going to make is, I mean, Marvel is essentially like the tobacco companies. They're trying to hook them while they're young, and that's their plan. Is they don't see these films ending. They're trying to appeal to a younger audience and get them. They want the 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds now because they're going to keep making these movies over the next 20 plus years, and you're going to have them into their mid 20s, their 30s. I mean, that's their goal right now. They're not. They're not making movies for people our age. That's not their, they're just saying, well, fuck the 30-year-olds, because they know that we still have the money and we actually have to spend the money to go see the movies. But they're making the conscious decision to say, we're looking at 2 generations or the next generation down the road, because they're the ones that we're going to be taking their money in the future. Whereas I feel DC is just like, yeah, fuck you. We're just going to make the movies that we want to make. We're not looking at the younger audiences. I'm not saying one's right or the other, but I get that feeling that Marvel's basing themselves off of big tobacco right now.
Wow. Yeah.
The only counter argument with that is DC is absolutely doing that. They just had a slower start and they trying to catch up. They are absolutely, because they got just as many movies coming out within their own universe over the next 4 or 5 years, just like Marvel.
Well, I think my point was, though, I don't think that they're just trying to cater to younger audiences. I feel that Marvel is making a conscious effort, especially being owned by Disney, to make these films a little safer, so younger audiences will be going to it. And I think that might be part of the whole issue where I don't feel the stakes are high enough or there's no real impending doom, because they don't want there to be, because they don't want kids to feel that, oh no, Iron Man's dead.
That's coming soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for Infinity War. I guess my overall point is it's a well-made action movie. There is no doubt about it. I just wish they'd raise the bar just a smidge. I mean, surprise me. Give me a surprise. I didn't feel like I was surprised at all in this. I didn't feel like I got a little antsy during it. And I think the most damning thing I can say is when, spoiler again, when Rhodey is paralyzed and Iron Man is, addressing him and what's his name? The Hawk lands and Tony shoots him. People in the crowd laughed at that. There is no emotional weight here. This is just all in for a good time and a ride. There's no consequences to any actions as far as the audience is concerned. It just, they've got to step up if they actually want to keep somebody like me. And granted, they probably don't. Like Dan said, this is for children.
That kind of invalidates the whole round table, if you think about it. It's not for us.
I'd like to argue that it's a tea table. It's not really a round table.
Oh, that's true. Well,
all right, we wasted enough people's time.
56 minutes of this, yeah. All right, so if there's anybody out there that hasn't, we'd really like you to like this one, not dislike this one, like this one. Comment, tell us we're full of shit. For the kids out there, I'm trying to keep it Disney.
Keep it Disney.
That's PG-13. They say that in the movie. We can say it.
Oh, that's right, Spider-Man.
Yep.
Holy shit, or whatever it was. Yeah. So yeah, please like, comment, sub, so you can catch this. We'll be doing another roundtable pretty soon, I imagine, right, Dan?
Possibly. We'll try. I'll try to get some people together. Maybe we'll do X-Men Apocalypse. That's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah, I don't want to see it at all. I have interest in seeing it, Jamil. But for the show, I guess I'm going to go see it.
He's taking one for the team, everybody. So. Yeah, and there's always a round table every Monday on Veggie Lasagna, right?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's everything.
Veggie Lasagna will make all your hopes, wishes, and dreams come true.
We'll be back next Monday with something.
Yes. And Dan and I will be back every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, to talk about movies and or stuff. So yeah.
I also have another show that is percolating in my head. So hopefully that'll be coming soon.
Is that it? No, yeah, that's it. That's all we get.
That's all I'm getting. I'm not gonna, because I actually have to put the show together and figure it all out.
Dan project.
Yes,
that's pretty much. But hopefully I have my own show coming soon.
Yeah, we're all excited about this mystery show. I'm looking forward to it.
We're all counting on you.
Yeah.
I'm your only hope.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Jack Random Show.
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Show, yeah.
Guys, I was waiting for you to kick it to me.
I am so sorry. It's not in my notes. If I am Ron Burgundy here.
If you disliked Captain America, you would have got a plug, but sorry.
Yeah.
The Supernauts website. Listen to me on the Jack Random Show every Friday. We will be recording our Captain America Civil War episode tomorrow. That's probably gonna be more positive than this show. I think I got beat up a little bit, and I'm just.
You did fine. Yeah, I think you went blow for blow with everybody. So yeah, I think you did right. So the Jack Random Show, that's the podcast where he gets mad that Superman is different than the Superman he grew up with, but has no problem with Iron Man being adopted in the comics.
Iron Man being adopted?
Yeah, Iron Man's in 616. Iron Man's adopted.
He is?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't read comic books. Who reads that shit?
Abe out nerds Jamil.
Just saying. This isn't the Civil War I grew up with.
Drop.
That's my impression of Jack Random.
There we go.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Good.
Tom just like bounced.
I know, right? He just left. He just no bye. I'll see you guys later. Can't even see Abe. Just his moves and stuff.
Did Abe leave? Or is he
Abe, are you there?
I think it's just me and you.
Oh shit.
Good night, Jamel. I gotta put my
Good
kids
night.
to bed.
I gotta go.